Yo, welcome back to Not Another Gaming Podcast. It's your boy Papa Dom. We're back. It's episode 164, and you know what? We got a whole lot of shit to talk about. We have plenty of ground to cover. We've got a whole lot of subjects that need speaking on, and you know who's going to speak on it is my two beautiful co-hosts and myself. And listen, you probably already know these guys. It's been 164 episodes. It's been over 160 episodes, and we have my first co-host. When he's not punching desks, he's not chuffing dots, he's over here, he's keeping us up to date on all the esports and gaming news that you care about, and even some that you don't. My man, Chris P. How you doing?
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really doing too good. I'm a little worried, guys.
Don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it, Chris.
Dom, I'm so worried, bro.
What's up?
Oh my God.
What's going on?
So
What's the matter?
I was browsing the internet and like going all around the internet. They're talking about a coronavirus, and I had a couple last weekend, so I'm worried. I just don't know. I already went on WebMD. I think I get like a week left. It's I should have just never drank the Coronas, but it is what it is. But I'm gonna keep pushing through, you know. In my final days, I'm just gonna keep pumping out the blogs, keep pumping out the absurd TikToks. That for some reason I decided to stop making. Whatever, you know. I'm just gonna live to my fullest before the big guy takes me. But it's your boy Chris P, the tallest and the lankiest. Might not be here for too much longer, but I'm here tonight.
Thank you so much for your perseverance and your strength during this difficult time.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You should have heard it the other 3 times.
Shut up! Don't ruin this.
So fucking stupid. I told you. I said when we were coming into this, I said, Chris, do not fucking do that stupid Corona joke, please.
Dude, the thing is, when I was in Discord with you guys, in my head, I already knew that I wanted to say it on the podcast, but
God.
something in me, I had no self-control. I was like, I have to say it now. I have to say it now. I have to tweet it. I just lost control.
That's wild. That's
Oh
wild.
my God.
That's wild. My other co-host, you might find him on Tuesdays, streaming right here for Booze Days with Dr. Bob, or you can catch him predicting major industry moves before the movers even think of making them. Dr. Bob, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. It's 2020, new year, new Bob.
You know what I'm
I'm making some huge life adjustments.
Triumphant
Huge
return to
life
Twitter.
Yeah.
Again, I still think it was a mistake. We'll see how long this lasts. It probably won't be all that long.
6 months.
I don't even know if I'd go that far. I'll forget that I have it, honestly.
Dude, Twitter's the best social media. Like, Twitter me is the real me. Like, the tiers of meeting me is like, okay, you meet Facebook Chris, and then you meet Instagram Chris, and then when you find out Twitter Chris, you're like, this guy's an absolute degen.
No, dude. Twitter is a fucking cesspool of human beings, and
right.
I don't necessarily want to be a part of it. But I want to get more into like the CSGO analytical side of Twitter stuff. So there's I made it this past week because there's a DreamHack event in Leipzig going on starting tomorrow, and I want to just do whatever I can to get CSGO analytics out, like put my 2 cents in there, seeing as though for some fucking reason I end up making the predictions that come true. Like
Right.
I called Cloud9 winning the IEM Katowice qualifiers. I called it. I called it 2 weeks before they ever played as a Cloud9 unit.
Yeah, and like having Twitter is the best way. Like, there's a market for that for sure. Like, people eat that shit up on Twitter. There's a lot of CSGO analysts on Twitter. They get tons of engagement and whatnot. And I mean, you calling this stuff, it's like a tree falling in the middle of the forest. If you didn't tweet it, did it actually happen?
Yeah, Chris
said
this. You said this a couple weeks ago. You were like, you should restart your Twitter so you can get the CSGO takes out there, get the analytical stuff out there so people can actually see it. And Bob was like, oh, I don't want to get back on Twitter. It's not happening. Absolutely not. And this is the same conversation that we had like 3 years ago when I was like, Bob, why the fuck don't you have a debit card? And he was like, I'm not doing it. I deal in cash and cash only. And then 6 months later, he had a debit card. I was like, oh, you want to split this tab? He goes, yeah, I got it.
Okay, first of all, this was like 5 years ago, not 3. And I was still in college, and I was a fucking broke boy, and I still don't trust the government to this day. Okay, they don't need to track every fucking dime that I make or every dime I spend.
Yeah.
Okay, I like to work in cash.
Cash and cash only. I deal in cash and cash only.
And I hate Twitter, yet I fucking made one. And you can follow me at WGGBert
Oh my god!
But you changed it to Bert? Did you change it to Bert? Oh my god!
But
Literally, I think it was like the Notorious B.I.G. released "Ready to Die" at age 21. Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity at age 23. Age 22, Bob got a debit card. So we're just.
And then 27, he creates a new Twitter account. I'm doing good though. You know, I started my new sleep schedule.
Oh.
Things are going swimmingly currently, so we'll see how long it takes for me to fuck that up. I'll probably black out one night this weekend and ruin it. But yeah, I'm doing okay.
Great, absolutely. All right, speaking of sleep schedules and speaking of other things that happen, let's do a little weekend recap.
Damn, son, where'd you find this? We lit!
I also can confirm that it is at WGGBert, and that is fucking fantastic. Oh shit, that's great.
Bert.
That's great. Bert, how was your weekend?
It was good. I streamed a bunch on Friday, I think it was. No, I remember what happened this weekend. I took a nice long weekend. I took Thursday and Friday off, so I had a nice 5-day break. And guess what I did?
What'd you do?
I drank and I played video games for 5 days straight. That is basically it. I did a bunch of streaming. I played through some more of The Witcher. Played through. I've been playing a bunch of Counter-Strike recently. Thankfully, people are starting to get back on. Crazy. Chris actually joined us for a few. Kid got the itch.
Oh.
We took 2 days. We took 2 days off, and he's like, "I don't know if I can play this anymore. You know, I can't. You guys don't want to play every single day. I don't know if I can."
Not into it.
Yeah, dude, I'm like Finbar Calamitous from
Jimmy Neutron.
Was that Fairly Odd Parents or Jimmy Neutron?
Finbar Calamitous is Jimmy Neutron.
I'm pretty sure it's Jimmy Neutron.
All right, whatever. I'm like Finbar Calamitous, where I can't finish anything I start. So like, to me, it's a sprint, not a marathon. I want to play a lot for a short period of time, and then just never play again.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, but
exactly.
the problem is, like, we have a group of 4 people who play pretty consistently. Like me, John, Steve, and Scrap play pretty consistently. Chris could just round out a nice 5-man roster if he doesn't give up by the end of fucking next week.
Hey, you know, it's ingrained in me. It's just how I am. I was born this way.
I'm even gonna go so far as to say Chris didn't even play that bad. Okay,
Wow.
I'll say that. This is me.
Hype me up, Bob. Hype me up.
Hype me up.
This is me coming out of my comfort zone to say something I probably shouldn't say while we're recording this live.
Damn, hype up the homies 2020.
Chris didn't do all that bad.
Oh.
Well, all right. So now
Hot
that
take.
we're doing this,
Hot
now that we're giving out compliments, Bob, I'd be remiss if I didn't do the same. I'm going to compliment myself for doing better than you.
All right. Well, I'm out here telling the truth. I don't want to have to lie to people, but okay. I guess we're gonna go that far.
No, Bob isn't bad. I'll give him that.
Dude, you should see the fucking clips that Chuck got of me tonight. Tom, I'll send you the clips after this. They're fucking.
Please do. Please do.
I'm
Please
fucking back, baby.
Please do.
Yeah. So I also played a shit ton of H1 over the weekend. That game is fucking terrible, but it's so addictive. And and I watched the fights on Saturday, and I drank 16 beers, and I don't remember how I got home. And yeah,
There you go.
it was a fun night.
Cherry on top.
Attaboy. Great. Christopher, how was your weekend?
It was good. Really can't complain, I guess. It was pretty low-key for the vast majority of it, besides the night of the McGregor fight. So I watched that with a couple of buddies. Barely even drank during it, to be honest, but I had some money on the line, and it was pretty interesting. I put a $10 parlay in for 2 long shots and then Conor McGregor. It was $10 to win 300. I'd do that any day of the week. And that ended up hitting. It was pretty electric. I was happy with that. And then I lost a couple hundred of it on virtual slots, which is probably not the smartest thing to do, but I can't help myself. But you got to shoot your shot. But all in all, good weekend. I started playing Rocket League. I had a itch, I guess, that I had a scratch with that. And it's a very, very difficult game. It's fun as shit, but it's super duper hard, and I feel like an absolute dunce playing that because I just can't control the car or anything. So I'm just a liability, but I'm learning. That's going to be a game that I play for like 2 weeks, and then I hang it up too, just like everyone else.
Excellent. Excellent.
Dom, how was your weekend, dude? How was your weekend?
You know, I'm so glad that you asked. I'm so glad that somebody asked. You know, I mean, sometimes I feel a little lonely, and I just think, you know, is anybody thinking about me? So, yeah, no, it's good. You might have seen the blog already on wickedgoodgaming.com, but went for the Triple Crown this weekend. It was a long weekend, which was great. So it was nice, and you know, we got an extra day to really get after it. And I feel like for me, I like to take advantage of my long weekends. So on Friday, I went out to a work party. We had it was prom themed. So myself, yeah. So myself and the wife went out there, you know, cut the rug up, you know what I mean? Took advantage of the open bar, got home nice and timely. Definitely was not home too late. Saturday, we went out for a friend's 30th birthday. That was a great time. Just definitely did not overdo it that night at all. There was definitely not any embarrassing, incriminating footage of my wife trying to make macaroni and cheese like homemade at like 2 a.m. When we got home. Just neither here nor there. And then Sunday, what the fuck did we do on Sunday? I gotta literally check my calendar because I do not remember. Yep, still don't know. Still have no idea.
You were at the casino, were you?
That is correct. I think I was at the casino. You know what? No, I was not. I literally don't know. We did something. Hold on a second.
Scorpion Bar.
Lauren, what did we do on Sunday?
I forget.
You forget too? All right, we don't know what happened on Sunday.
You guys got fucking roofied.
We clearly did. We definitely did something on Sunday. We went out on Sunday. I literally do not know what we did. We went out though. I know we went out. And then Monday, we just hung out, did nothing, relaxed, just really settled in and just treated ourselves to a little relaxation. I'll tell you what we did do though. Is I finished Pokemon Sword and Shield. I already said that on the last episode, but I started the end game for that. Started to catch like the legendaries, you know, go on like the end game quest for that game, which has been really good. We also started watching the new show on HBO, The Outsider, which is a Stephen King adaptation. It's pretty creepy. I am pretty excited to see a little bit more of it. Ben Mendelsohn is in it, who is one of my favorite actors. It's one of those people who, if I see him in it, I'm going to watch it. There is just like no debate. I don't care what it's about or what it is or who's in it. There's Ben Mendelsohn's in it. I'm going to watch a little bit of it. And Jason Bateman is also in it as well. So really looking forward to seeing more of that. Only watched the first episode so far, so don't spoil anything for me. Also, people in the chat are saying that I have got some early memory issues, so not feeling great about that. So thanks so much for the vote of confidence, everybody. Please, see yourselves out. But yeah, weekend was pretty good.
There is medication for it, and you should probably get ahead of it, seeing as though you're up there in age. I think you should see your physician.
Yeah, my advanced age. I am going to see a physician in like next week. So.
Yeah, ask for neurological studies to be done on you, and for sure, because when you're reaching like that prime age that you're at right now, like late 70s, early 80s, possibly higher, completely unknown to us, it becomes more realistic, you know, for people like you.
I'm also working on new PAX East t-shirts, you fucking assholes. So there are new PAX East stuff in the works.
Did you remember that?
Keeping the brain sharp, you know, working on some new designs. So there are going to be some new stuff for PAX East 2020. So if you got your tickets already, listen, the 4 days are not sold out yet, which is kind of alarming. But the PAX East is right around the corner. It's the end of next month. So those shirts are going to be up by the end of the week, probably. So,
and they are fire. I will tell you guys that.
Some serious heat. Some serious heat. So normally this is it's classified as a Class A substance in most states and countries. So, you know, just get on that, while we before you can't. So, Chris, you had a topic that has been, I think there's a lot of discourse about the topic that you wanted to discuss today. I'm sure everybody's got their 2 cents to put into it. Why don't you set the stage on what's going on with Fortnite right now?
Yeah, sure. So long story short, Fortnite's officially a high school and college sport. So Epic Games partnered up with Play VS. Play VS is a software company. They set up the infrastructure for high school esports in America. So they do the leagues and the scheduling and everything like that.
Yeah.
So Epic Games partnered with them, and they're bringing Fortnite competitions to high school and college. Right now, Play VS is already partnered with. I always butcher it, so I'm going to say Rocket League. Rocket League. So they're already partnered with Rocket League, but this is the first time they're actually going to be at the collegiate level with something, which is Fortnite. So right now, like I said, there's gonna be a high school level and there's gonna be a college level. The high school level is gonna have 6 conferences, one for each time zone, and the college conference is only gonna be one. It's only gonna be one conference, so they're gonna decide what colleges actually get to compete in it and whatnot. So that's kind of the broad strokes of it. I think I honestly, I'm surprised it even took them this long to get Fortnite into high school and college. Esports as a whole has been kicking off, and there's been scholarships getting thrown out and everything like that for esports in colleges and whatnot. So is this an absolute game changer? Are we going to see the Cinderella story where Billy, the high school quarterback, who's an absolute stud, gets all the chicks getting scouted from fucking a dozen colleges? It's the storyline that you couldn't even write better. He goes up to his family, goes, "I'm just not happy on the field. I just feel more alive behind the mouse and keyboard, ma. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna quit the team." And everyone in the school is like, "Oh my god, what is he doing? He's throwing his life away." And then FaZe hears about the kid, "Oh my god, this kid's a stud. We gotta sign him." And it turns out to be the biggest Fortnite player to ever live. Are we gonna see that storyline, or is this gonna be another case of the unathletic, the non-athletic actually getting a chance to be competitive? Dom, what do you think?
For me, I think that I've seen too many, big high profile stories be put out recently to not have faith in what's going on right now. I mean, obviously, would my first guess at, hey, what's a great career path in high school? Is it professional Fortnite? Probably not, because you think about something that's going to last you a lifetime. We don't know if Fortnite is going to last, carpentry, electrician, a plumber,
electrical,
a plumber. Those are going to last forever. I mean, there's always a need for that. Is there always going to be a need for Fortnite? Probably not. It's not going to last nearly as long. But at the same time, I think that, if somebody has a chance to provide for their family and they have a skill set that they can use to profit and to actually make use of what they've been doing with their time, I mean, sure. I mean, that's a craft. It's not a trade, but it's a craft that they've put time into and they can profit off of. I feel a little weird about being completely 100% 10 toes down with a high school to collegiate program regarding Fortnite specifically. Esports, I do not feel as bad about, because Fortnite itself is, I don't know if Fortnite is going to be the same in 5-10 years, or even if it's going to be relevant in 5-10 years. But there's going to, I feel like from now on there's going to be something like it. Granted, if it's an esports thing, or it's a little bit more broad, and they train in different games, you've got your first person shooters, you have your battle royales, you have your whatever RTSs, maybe that'll be a little bit more broadly speaking relevant to what's going on out there today. But I would assume that the kids going into these programs have a good understanding that, hey, listen, even if you're the best person on your block, or the best person on your neighborhood, or the best person in your class who is wiping down everybody else in Fortnite, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're even the best person in your state, or the best person in your county, or the best person in your city. Because somebody else, I mean, I felt pretty good when I beat the main story in Street Fighter 5. And then I went online. I played one online game. I got wiped down, and I was like, "I'm throwing this game out into the highway." Yeah. So, I think it's a good first step. Do I think that this is fully fleshed out yet? And I feel like this is more reactive than proactively predicting the way the esports like talent pool is going to go. I think it's very reactive in that like Fortnite's popular, esports is popular, esports is lucrative for the top 5 to 10% of people who are professionals. So let's create a program there, and I don't know that's necessarily going to benefit everybody in the picture. So, Bob, what do you think about this stuff? Because I'm getting my head on straight.
I personally think this is the best place to have it start. So like I know right now there's already like an esports program going on at Revere High.
Yeah.
It's either like a program or a club or something like that. I don't know for sure. I don't know the logistics of it, but like this is the best place to start if we continue to see the trend of esports becoming a mainstay in viewership and watching, and like it's competing with professional sports right now. Like Kenny said in chat, LCS was the third most watched sport of all time in American history, like beating out professional sports. I think implementing programs like this now at lower levels of education, like high school, like we've already seen it with plenty of colleges already. There's a bunch of professional collegiate teams out there for like League of Legends and stuff like that. But Fortnite doesn't make all that much sense to me because I don't consider it like a great esport. Mm-hmm. It's too randomized. There's not enough competitiveness to it when there's too much random factor involved. But the fact that they're putting this stuff together at a high school level, it's giving these players that are going to be playing this game fucking 8 hours a day anyway, the resources to perform better and to live a healthier lifestyle. Like when I played sports in high school, we had trainers all the time. Like we would go to see them before games. I would have to get both of my fucking ankles taped up. They'd have to fucking tighten my knee braces so I can get ready to go play fucking freshman football. And I wouldn't break anything, but they're gonna have these resources available, or I would at least hope that they had these resources available, where they would be like, okay, you're gonna practice for 3 hours after school every day, 2 days a week. We're gonna bring you into the gym, shit like that. Yeah. So you're getting people. So you're getting the mix of, yeah, we're getting a competitive team ready, but we're also like what the major organizations do right now, like 100 Thieves and FaZe Clan and all those professional organizations, Cloud9, they all have personal trainers, they all have psychiatrists, shit like that, team psychiatrists. It's giving these kids the resources that they need earlier in life, which is more beneficial for them in the long run. Do I think it's a huge deal that Fortnite's now doing it? No. I mean, there's other esports that have done it beforehand, like you said, Rocket League, Counter-Strike to a lesser extent, Overwatch for sure. But yeah, I like it. I think it's good. These kids are going to be playing it anyway. You might as well put the resources behind them.
Yeah, and I think it's less about the idea of it going to high school and college. I think it's more about the implementation that the university or the high school itself puts on it. Because not for nothing, people that play traditional sports, right? If you start playing basketball as a 5'6" chunky guy, right, and you know that you're not really, sorry Dom, that you're not going anywhere for basketball, it doesn't stop you from playing it, but it doesn't alter your life decisions based on that, because you know you're not going to the league. But on the other hand, there's the guy who is just an absolute specimen that's getting looked at since he was 14 years old, and you kind of pave your life based on that. Like, okay, colleges are going to be looking at me for this sport, professionals might be looking at me for the sport, so I can base things off of that. But the vast majority of that does not happen to. So you don't change what you're doing. With Fortnite, so let's just generalize it for now, right? Let's say esports going to high school and college. There's going to be a dime a dozen where you're sick, and maybe if esports continue to trend in the way that it is, at one point, people are going to be scouted out of high school. They're going to be scouted out of college. That's honestly inevitable. That could definitely happen. But as of now, it's still so fresh where that's not going to happen. It should be handled like an intramural sport. Like it's a bonus on what you already have to do. Like, okay, guys, we have an extra league after class so you could take part in if you want. but like you don't take it too serious. But I agree with you, Bob, where it's definitely going to give them the tools to be better at it because there is money in it. There's like
but not just be better at Fortnite itself or esports in itself. Be better like overall health wise.
Yeah,
like I said, when you see with the bigger orgs, they have all those resources behind them. They have the trainers, they have the psychiatrists, they have everything that they need. That's my biggest like plus for all of this because they're going to be playing regardless.
Yeah, perfect. Because there's like actual studies done that say that when you separate work and like chill time, so it's like if you work from home 7 days a week, there's actual mental things that happen in your head that's not good for you, and it's proven. So a lot of these kids, they play video games competitively. They play Fortnite competitively. So when they're home, when they're playing, it's like a job to them. They're like, I want to be as good as I can to hopefully make it to the next level. Them pivoting away from having to stress out when you're home and grind out Fortnite as hard as you can and put it like in a studio that the school builds, it's good separating them. And if they have all those trainers and the psychiatrists and stuff like that, it's building you as a better esport player, I guess, and also a better person at the end of the day because you're able to focus on something else. You're able to work out regularly, talk to the right people. So it can be very beneficial. It can be very good, but it's just ultimately how it's executed on the university or high school side that'll make it.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see what collegiate sports did now at high school levels and college esports levels. Where they're going to profit 1,000% off of any fucking stud that they have in their program.
See, that's also a gray area too, because in the collegiate level, you can't make money from the sports you play. That's going to be a huge gray area because, like, not for nothing, like Dom was saying, if you go to high school and you practice a trade, that's a lifelong trade. 9 times out of 10, those people don't go to college and they can immediately start using that trade. If you're playing Fortnite throughout your high school career and then go to a college to play Fortnite competitively, then you focus on it more when you're in college, and it might take away from your studies and ultimately the income that you're going to make when you get out of college. That's going to be the big gray area because if you play in college, right, are you allowed to stream because you get donated money? You're tied to a team at this point. You don't know. That's going to be the huge gray area.
I would assume that they would allow them to stream and stuff like that. I would also assume that at some point they're going to have, I don't want to say salaries, but they're going to have like stipends. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Who the fuck knows? Everything's so new. You don't fucking know.
That's the thing. Yeah, everything's so fucking new that like, who are we to say if something's good or bad? We can only say what it looks like from the sidelines. But I mean, would I have loved to have like a competitive Counter-Strike team when I was in college for that 2 months? Yeah, I would have loved that. That would have been phenomenal. Maybe I would have stayed in college longer. But like, it's something good to have.
Would you have made the team?
Yeah, I think I would have at that time. Right now, no chance. But back then, I probably
would. So speaking of, I mean, so we're talking about that a little bit, and honest to God, I think, honestly, if you're a kid and you've got all this talent in front of you, whether it's Fortnite or it's another game, and these programs continue to expand from high school to the collegiate level, as long as it's not governed by the NCAA, which I think Bubba was just saying in the chat as well. If it's not governed by the NCAA, you're probably going to be fine. You can make a couple bucks. You can help your family out. Aiden was just did that live stream where he had paid for his mother's student loans. I was pissing out of my eyeballs, just crying my eyes out watching that video. Just absolutely unbelievable. Talking about using your gifts for a reason and encouraging your kids to play video games.
Shout that fucking... I love that shout out because not for nothing, he didn't even promote it. Like, it wasn't something where like he posted a video after. It's like, oh my God, like I paid off my mom's student loans. He's like, no, I just did it and other people clipped it. Shout out to that fucking kid because if I was 20 years old making the money that kid does, doing what that kid does, I'd be spending it on God knows what. And he's using it for the right reasons. He's not buying fucking... Granted, he bought a pretty fly Rolex, but he treated himself. But he's like using his money for like the greater good. So shout out to that kid. Sorry to cut you off.
No, absolutely.
Shout out to him.
No, absolutely. Shout out to him. And it just goes to show you, like, there's a lot of good that can be done, and there's a lot of productive things that can happen if these kids are able to cultivate these skills. And this is just the next step closer to. I mean, I think esports are legitimate. I think most people think that esports are legitimate and profitable. But this is just the next step in making this a believable career track for people who are really, really serious about it. And, it might be like, oh, you're never going to break into this thing. But, you see more of these esports leagues even putting a more bigger emphasis on grassroots organizations, being able to get in whether or not you have qualified for a major before. So, I mean, I think there's still going to be a lot, a much bigger stage for people that otherwise would not have a shot at this. And when you think about, I don't know, there's probably some wild stat out there about, like, the cream of the crop high school basketball players, like what percentage, like 0.02% of them end up making the NBA. But when you think about esports players, you think about professional Fortnite players or professional CSGO players or whoever. I feel like the chances are probably a little bit higher because you have these. It's like anybody can play. You don't have to travel around the world to qualify for these leagues, and you can showcase your talents just through the power of the internet. And maybe that'll give you a better shot at actually making something of yourself and cashing in on a passion that you have. So
I personally don't think there's a better game to do it than Fortnite because no one does prize money like Fortnite. You can literally enter opens like every week. They literally just pay out money and anyone can play, anyone can qualify. As granted, you have to be good enough for it. Yeah, the CDL's starting to do it now, but I mean, like you said, there's a split chance that you make the NBA for playing a college sport, right, or a high school sport. But at the same time, if you are a esport player, to an extent, you're starting your own business, you're starting your own brand. I guess you can also throw another stat in there too. Like how many businesses fail? How many people are in college? Like when I got out of college, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to open up a restaurant. I'm going to open up an auto body shop. How many of those actually work out? How many of those are actually profitable? 1 out of 10, if that. I mean, it's the same fucking thing. I mean, if you like video games, the people that talk shit about it are the people that don't understand it. That's the thing. It's a whole different world we live in. Yes, it's new. It's new to us too. But the numbers are there.
Yeah.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Fucking look at them.
I have a question. So Dom was bringing up the fact that the internet is making it more accessible for people to go pro in certain things comparatively to sports.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a dual-edged sword where if all these kids are streaming all the time and they have clips all the fucking time, they're just as likely to later on when they get fucking drafted at some point for someone to be like, oh, hey, guess what? Let's go back 2 fucking years to find a clip of them dropping a racial slur or being homophobic live on stream. Let's just cancel them right ahead. I think that's just as equally possible.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you guys a question. Do you think that this is going to be a redefining moment for toxicity in gaming? Because quote unquote, there's the whole fucking video gamers are toxic and whatnot. Headlines that go around every single fucking day, and it makes me sick to my stomach. But it's not all wrong. I play with shitty people in Counter-Strike all the fucking time. People who are just shitbag human beings that you don't want to be around or you don't want to play a video game with. Do you think that allowing for younger people to take this, more formal approach to video games, do you think that reforms a lot of what's going on right now, especially for younger people who play video games that, utilize the anonymity of the internet?
I think it is already starting to happen to an extent because we've seen so many professional Call of Duty players literally get their careers ruined because their tweets and their rants. I think the age we live in, we already live in the era of cancel culture. You do one thing wrong and the internet's on your back. That's just kind of where we live. Them doing this, it probably gets it ingrained in your head sooner. So long story short, yes, because there's a lot of little kids, young kids that just tweet, post stupid shit, take Instagrams of dumb shit with really no realization that could fuck up their lives. You have your teachers saying, "Oh, if you get hired from a job, they're gonna look at like all your posts from the past and everything." No, they won't. First of all, but if you're making well, there's different circumstances with different careers. But if you're working a regular Joe Schmo job, they're gonna be like, okay, like you got the degree, all right, you're hired. But with them, if you're representing a team, yes, it can definitely bite you in the ass. We've seen it happen. So this could help. This could definitely make people chill the fuck out, because not for nothing, your career can be ruined before it even starts if you want to go on Al Gore's internet and say something stupid. I got that one from Dom. Dom, you like that one?
Yeah, no, I did like that one. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think for the most part, when you think about the anonymity of the internet, and you think about like how people will hide behind their gamer tags, or hide behind their online personas to mask what they say, the fact that so much of this can be turned into a lucrative career might make people think twice about saying things that are particularly toxic or inflammatory before they say them. Because at the end of the day, if you think that you're really good, I mean, granted, you could just be playing for fun, and you could just be like playing for shits and giggles and think that like, toxic shit talking is okay. But if you're actually trying to like make something out of it, and that might become a more common train of thought, then you probably want to be careful and just think about like what those types of statements might do to your reputation moving forward. So truthfully, I mean, I think the advent of this profitable esports career, and like it's starting in high school and moving all the way up, might actually curb a lot of this toxicity, because there might actually be a significant increase in people who want to make professional careers out of it. Granted, if they're kids and they're a lot younger, they probably don't know. But I think as with age comes wisdom, and for the most part, and hopefully they're able to like wise up and say, maybe I should like change my gamer tag to something a little bit more professional. Maybe I should stop like flaming these kids in every chat lobby we get into. You never know. But it's a really good question. I mean,
yeah, I'm turning 17 now. I'm
turning 17. Listen, I'm a grown man. I got to take responsibility for my own career. I mean, I got a whole career to think about. I've been fighting my whole fucking life.
Maybe I should get rid of the gamer tag. I slam pussy. Maybe it's time to grow up. I mean,
look, I was a big shit talker when I played basketball and lacrosse until I got teched out of a game at high school, and my coach made me run fucking suicides for 2 practices straight. I stopped talking shit after that. Thankfully things weren't being recorded, so I couldn't be canceled later on in life. But I used to talk a lot of shit.
Yeah,
I mean, we know that Sony records people's voice chat, so yeah, I mean,
we do know that.
If that's not enough to be like, okay, they're actually like, they could pull receipts if they really wanted to
from my high school basketball games.
Yes. Yes,
those two.
Speaking of Sony, Bob, you had some news coming up on what Sony was up to in the next couple of months, right?
Yeah, great segue.
Thank you.
So, I think it was last year was the first year that Sony decided they did not want to attend E3.
Mm-hmm.
We discussed this right around this time last year. We all agreed that it made a lot of sense. We're moving into another console generation. They didn't really have all that much to show off. They showed basically their entire hand the year beforehand, E3 2017, and they just decided that they don't want to go to E3 again this year, which I'm relatively indifferent about. I feel like E3 is, starting to decline in the recent years. All the major developers and console publishers like Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony, they do their own conferences. They do their own directs every like quarter at this point. I don't think there's a real need for it. I think the E3 showcase is a good spot, to get commercial investors involved, to get the media more involved, and recently the public even more involved. But you're going to get your information out there regardless. So I don't see Sony not being at E3 a big deal again, because they're going to do the same thing they did last year. They're going to have their own press conference at their own time whenever they want. And they'll do it strategically too. They'll wait for fucking Microsoft to do something stupid, or they'll go on, or they'll do their showcase before Microsoft, and they can dictate that whenever they want because they don't have to be stuck to the E3 schedule. So I'm fine with it. I'm indifferent. I think it's the right marketing play by them because when you think about it, they still don't have all that much to show at this point. Whenever they do the next Sony conference, they're gonna show the actual PlayStation 5 commercial model. Like it doesn't have to be at E3. We know it's coming, and we know what games are coming too. So I figured I would just throw it out to you guys. Is it a big deal? Do people really fucking care at this point?
Yeah, I mean, for me anyway. I mean, and I feel like I was just talking about this with somebody else, but like, I don't know what the PS5 is going to launch with this year. And granted, I don't know what I don't know what the PS5 is going to look like this year. And the PS5 is coming this year. It's coming in the holiday of 2020, right? I mean, it's the same time as the Xbox Series X or whatever the like. I think it's just called the Xbox, and then there's like the Series X. There's the Series.
It's called the Xbox 6.
Ooh,
nice, nice.
So I don't know what the PS5 looks like, and I feel like E3 has normally been. I would love to see the last time a major console has not been announced at E3. Granted,
not announced,
showcased, announced. Showcased in person, like unveiled at E3.
Yeah, like that.
You know what I mean?
One more time?
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Is that the PlayStation 5?
Oh my god, is that Vanna White?
So, like when's the last time that a major console has not been like showcased at E3? I personally can't remember off the top of my head. It might be more soon than I was able to. I'm just a little worried because I don't think that Sony is pulling out of E3 because they have nothing to show. I'm sure they have plenty to show, and I'm sure they'll have like an independent like Nintendo Direct type atmosphere where they can actually show off a couple of new games. But at this point, I don't know what's coming to the PS5 when it launches. I'm sure The Last of Us 2 will be on PS5 as well. But at this point, I feel like I'm looking at Xbox Series X and Halo Infinite, and then PS5 and The Last of Us 2, and maybe some other stuff, like maybe Madden and FIFA, Ghost of Tsushima.
Anything that Ubisoft is going to be working on is... Ubisoft is notorious for being like a launch title, whatever they're.
Yeah, they're like a very like non-partisan or bipartisan thing where they'll be like, oh, the new Ghost Recon is going to launch. Like Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter launched, I think, for 360 and for PS3 as soon as those came out. But I mean, I'm a little concerned just because I don't know what's coming to PS5, and I'm sure that there are some Sony fanboys or diehards that could be like, oh, fuck you, Dom, like I know exactly what's coming out for the day to the month, whatever. That's fine. If you're confident in that, that's great. But I would just say that if you haven't like showcased your console yet on a big stage, E3 is usually the one to do it. And if I was a Sony person, if I was a Sony fanboy or diehard or whatever, I would be a little worried. I don't know. Are you guys worried at all?
No, I personally, no, I don't give a shit. But I guess I can see why people like the fanboys really do care, because not for nothing, how many years has it been since Sony hasn't gone? 1, 2?
2.
This will be the second year in a row.
2017 was the last. Or, yeah. Yes? 2017? 2018? I don't fucker. It's 2 years.
Yeah, 2. So, doesn't matter. Regardless, right? It's already happened. So why are people acting so surprised? It's just because everyone has a voice on the internet, right? Everyone just gets to share their 2 cents. It doesn't matter. On the internet, you have the ability to release any information you want. You can even stage a leak. I mean, not for nothing, the dev kit for the PS5 has been going around for a month now. It looks like a vacuum cleaner without the handle. Everyone's putting fucking pieces of pizza on it, making it look like it's a microwave. Like everyone knows. I mean, if that's what it actually looks like, phenomenal. What people care about is, what do I get with it? How much is it? All this shit. I mean, I don't even think the whole like press conference even matters nowadays. I don't think you have to do that. I don't think anyone has to do that. If it was up to me and my company was kind of showcasing our products, I'd be like, fuck it, we're gonna do our own. Like, I'm surprised that E3 is even a thing still. To be honest with you, it's only a matter of time before that's
After they
not
leaked
even
everybody's
a thing.
information like last year or the year before.
Yeah, I mean, something's got to give, right? No one, like, people aren't going anymore. You're leaking information.
I mean, I'll go like E3 if you listen to this. Like, I'll go.
Yeah, like I'll go for free. I'm not spending money to go. Like, honestly, if I talk to the person that runs E3 when I get there, I'm just like, hey, dude, like, this is an incredible show. Like, oh my god,
Oh my god, what a groundbreaking, revolutionary gaming.
I'll even
showcase.
I'll throw the B word out there, like, oh my god, I'm so blessed to be here. Like, I'll even lie straight to their face. I don't give a fuck. But like, I'm surprised those are even in business. That is even still in business. It's only a matter of time before all companies start doing their own thing. They start doing fucking whatever it is, like web releases or live streams on their own fucking channels and shit like that. It's only a matter of time. Everything's evolving, and I mean, everyone that's pissed about Sony, I get it, but I mean, strap in because it's going to start happening with a lot of people.
So let me ask you this:
all business moves.
Okay, so if you guys aren't PC guys and you're just Sony guys, like you're a Sony diehard, you got a PS4, you got a fucking PS Vita on your coffee table, just ready to go for the next time you want to play Lumines or whatever the fuck else people are playing on the Vita these days, or Patapon 2 or whatever, if that's even out. Are you worried? If you're a Sony fanboy, are you worried?
I'm not worried, but I'm pissed. I mean,
Okay.
if I'm going to E3, if I bought my tickets to E3 with the idea that Sony was going to be there, and then they drop it saying, "Oh, we're not going again this year," yes, then I'm pissed at Sony. Am I worried? No, because not for nothing. If you pick a side, if you pick your Xbox or your PlayStation side, that's Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC. I mean, it's the New York Yankees versus the Red Sox. You pick a side and you follow that side until you die. That's just what it is. So it doesn't matter. You're never going to say you're worried, because once an Xbox fanboy says, oh my God, like PlayStation guys, you guys should be worried. You guys aren't going to E3. I'm going to bat for my team. It doesn't matter like if they're going to the convention or not. You have to stay with them. It's Apple versus Android, right? If Apple releases the same phone for the 12th year in a row, and the Android users say, oh my God, well, I can play like fucking 4K video games, and I can get this widget and that widget. My phone dies, but I can recharge it in 30 seconds. You go to bat for Apple. That's just kind of what happened. Long story short, would I be worried? No. Would I be pissed if I bought tickets expecting Sony there? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't give a who actually fucking actively cares. I don't understand. They're gonna.
I
do
mean,
their
well,
own
do you
thing
like
anyway.
if you're exclusively a Sony guy, you're a Sony
No,
diehard.
I don't,
You don't
care. I still don't care. No, because they're gonna do their own fucking conference anyway. They do their own conferences every fucking 4 months at this point. Who cares? You're getting the information that you're looking for. It's just Sony gets to do it on their terms, whenever, however they want at this point. Who fucking cares?
Everyone has a voice. That's the thing. No
So
one
what?
cares. No one
Okay,
cares.
so everyone
But
has
hit
a
the
voice.
button on the voice.
Everybody has a voice. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's
Dude,
that simple.
It's like when we posted that video of like the PS5. First of all, the PS5 logo, obviously, like, it sucks. It's nothing groundbreaking, and who cares? Like you were saying. But when I made that video of like the family crying, looking at the PS5 logo, I was getting hate mail in the DMs. Like,
Last topic that we got is that Nintendo is making some headlines this week for all the wrong reasons. They were actually taken to court in Europe over their ongoing practice of not letting users cancel digital pre-orders through the eShop. So they were originally called out by the Norwegian Consumer Council in 2 years ago in 2018. They said that Nintendo's policy conflicts with the EU's Consumer Rights Directive, which requires that consumers must be able to cancel online purchases and receive refunds. However, Nintendo's no refunds policy is not new, and was also in place for the Wii U, 3DS, and now the Switch, in the US and in the EU. So this is not new. They have never, ever, ever offered refunds for digital purchases or refunds. What I didn't know, however, is that Nintendo is basically the only console maker that does not let customers cancel a digital pre-order. So as of right now, Nintendo won the original court ruling. So the EU court said that Nintendo was totally fine to not refund people who pre-order games, but it's being appealed. So for me, I'm pretty surprised that Nintendo is making this move, because it's very rare that I see them making a move that is so blatantly like anti-consumer. And it's a pretty sobering realization at the end of the day that they're still a gigantic company and they're going to do stuff like this occasionally. But what do you guys think? I mean, how do we feel about this?
I mean, they have in writing that they don't do.
I mean, it says it like before you download or buy anything on the eShop, it says like this is non-refundable.
Well, in the words of the umpire from the bench warmers, they got documentation. It's in fucking writing. That I don't think there should be any argument behind that. If they say, hey, there's no digital refunds when you buy a digital game, then it's in writing. That's what it is. Everyone has their own policies when you buy products. It's like the people saying that they don't do returns if you buy something.
Yeah,
you honor that because it's fucking there. There's nothing you could really do about it. I have seen people, I've never done this. I know that I've said my past being a scumbag on eBay, but I've read a couple times that people write on a posting, it says like PlayStation Plus like install guide or like setup guide. And then in fine writing, they write in like super small text, this is only a piece of paper describing how to set up your PlayStation. And they list it for like $300, and people buy it and they go to return. They're like, sorry, like it says it right there. That's a more scumbag side of things, but I don't think there should be even an argument behind it, because they said that they don't do it. So you got to honor what you write down. I don't think this shouldn't be a question. Bob, what do you think about the whole thing?
I think it's going to end up the same as what Europe did to the Counter-Strike cases. So if you didn't know, I think it's probably like 6 months ago. In the EU, you were no longer able to. They forced people or Valve to display what was in a case before you opened it, so you knew predetermined what you were receiving. But there was still a fucking weird loophole system where you had to pay Steam and Valve to purchase the key, but you needed to buy an X-ray kit or something to see what's inside of the case, and then you could open it, but you couldn't return it. I don't know. It was a weird fucking system that they did in the EU. I get a feeling that they're going to force Nintendo's hand to do something similar, where they're going to need to, I don't know, like if you're in the EU region playing on a Switch, there's going to have to be like 6 different checkboxes that you're going to have to go through when you're pre-ordering something for Nintendo. I think they're gonna make it so it's more difficult for people to get screwed over, which is good for a consumer standpoint. But it's also going to be like more of a hassle on Nintendo's side, but it's still going to be the same outcome. I don't know. I don't see much coming from it, but I see there's going to be fucking legal duct tape going over everything, fucking the caution signs everywhere. I don't know.
I mean, how many times you have to write down that you're not getting a refund if you don't like what you bought? I mean, you should have to say it once, and
yeah, but you're canceling. It's canceling pre-orders too, that's kind of a big deal.
All right,
like
yeah.
Refunds, I get. I understand that. But if you pre-order something, you pay $50 for a pre-order, and then your fucking aunt gets you it for your birthday before you go to pick it up. Cancel a fucking pre-order.
That's different. I don't agree with if you buy a game digitally that you don't enjoy and you return it after a day, you should not get your money back. I agree with that.
I mean, well, then again, Steam allows you under 2 hours. On 2 hours, you can
2 hours of gameplay. Yeah,
and I agree with that. I mean, you shouldn't be able to do that because not for nothing, What's stopping you from buying a small little indie game that you can beat in an hour and then returning it immediately after?
I used to do that with GameStop all the time in the summers during school break. I would go buy 2 or 3, or I would go buy one pre-owned game. I would beat it within that 7-day grace period and return it, and then get another pre-owned game. And I would do the same thing over and over again throughout the summers just to go through more games.
Exactly, and look what's happening in the GameStop. They're closing down.
Rob,
but
you
that's
single-handedly
okay.
killed him.
Good, they had it coming. Give me my fucking 75 cents back that you got for my fucking PlayStation 3, you piece of shit.
Yeah, you bought this game 3 days ago for $62.
The best I can do is 38 cents.
Yeah, well, they fucked me and I fucked them right back every single summer when I was in high school. I took GameStop and I fucked them.
Good, they deserve it. That place
Exactly.
stinks. The place
They had it coming.
stinks. But I don't know. This whole thing, nothing's gonna come out of it. It's more of a hassle for Nintendo and kind of the regulations that are going to be set forward if something does come out of it.
There will be. There's definitely going to be regulations that come out of it.
I mean, the pre-order, yeah, that should be fucking shut down immediately. That shouldn't be allowed. Like, you pre-order a game, I don't know. Like, when I say it out loud, it sounds kind of like dickish. You should be allowed to get your money back within, I don't know, 3 days before release or whatever it is. But you shouldn't be able to do it like the day of. Even if, I don't know, people are going to buy the game anyway. If you're pre-ordering a game, that means there's a pretty high demand for it. You really want it, which means a lot of people also want it. If you have to cancel it, someone's going to buy that copy. It's not gonna collect dust.
I hate it. Nintendo's stupid.
I mean, for me, listen, here's the deal. I mean, you could easily take this like buyer beware stance and just say, listen, hey, if you already know that Nintendo doesn't do refunds for digital purchases, shouldn't you just know better? Like, you already know, like, you should not pre-order something digitally, especially via Nintendo, if you know that you're not going to get it. Also, another like devil's advocate stance here is like, why the fuck would you digitally pre-order something anyway? Because the stock is not going to run out. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could like preload a game. You can't really do that via Switch. I think it's just like as soon as the game goes live, it starts downloading, but you don't really like preload it so that the second that it becomes available in your region, you hit play. So, I don't know. I just don't understand what the point is. So, for me, it just kind of seems like... Oh, shit. Fuck. I don't even know what I just did. So, for me, it just seems a little naive if you're on the part of somebody who is buying something from Nintendo for the first time. They do say, hey, these purchases are non-refundable. For my Switch, which I've had for, I think, over 2 years now, I've bought every game digital, and there is no refunds for that. And it says that every single time you check out via the eShop. So, I mean, for me, do I think it should happen? Yeah. I mean, I would love if everybody adopted the same practice as Steam or had the same kind of like leeway as buying a physical copy where you can refund it or return a pre-order and get the full value back, whatever it is that you put in. But then again, I mean, if Nintendo has disclaimers all over everything, then I don't see how you can really say that like that's not fair. So,
Yeah. I mean, how many disclaimers do you have to put? Just fucking read. If you check a box and say, I agree to the terms and conditions, and one of the terms and conditions is there's no refunds, there shouldn't be a conversation. You check the box.
I'm telling you, they're going to implement more in the EU region specifically. They're going to do what they did with Valve, and they're going to do something
But that's different, I feel like,
to
though,
make it
'cause
more difficult.
You're talking about, like, the crates in CSGO?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I think
that's different. That's gambling. It's different.
you're right, but this is also like consumer practices that
Actually,
is
maybe
being
not.
infringed upon.
I go back because you think you know what you're getting, right? You hope that you're getting what you paid for, but a lot of the times that doesn't happen. It's the same with games too.
Yeah,
That's a gamble too.
it's all consumer based, which is why I think something will happen. Do I think it's going to be huge and extensive and it's going to shake the fucking Nintendo eShop industry? No. It's still going to be, people are still going to be pre-ordering. I would at least hope that they could get refunded for pre-orders that they are no longer interested in. Refunding, whatever, dude. Like, that's you signed off for that. That makes sense. But pre-order shit, loosen up a little bit, Nintendo. Grow up. Grow the fuck up.
I want to read something.
I hope it's exactly what I just read.
I hope it is. It's Jimmy, who lives downstairs. He goes, I'm so glad my girl had to work overnight at her boss's house tonight so I could be in this chat tonight. big W.
W's in the chat, boys. W's in the chat. So, it's so... I can't even fucking...
Oh, God.
Let's fucking land the train. Oh, God. Bert, what do you got?
I would like to shout out... Let's see. I was on the Down in Front podcast last night. We did a recap of The Witcher, the Netflix series.
Yeah.
That was a fun episode. It's always I always have fun going on that podcast with them. They're a good group of guys. Warren kind of sucks, but like everyone else is pretty cool. I streamed it. They don't typically stream their shit, so I told them I would stream it. So the VOD is live on our Twitch right now. If you want to watch
Warren needs to pay all of us $50.
Yeah, the first 25 minutes, the audio was kind of fucked up. But I clipped everything out. We're probably going to put it up on YouTube. We'll fix the audio. So it'll be nice to watch us fuck around with each other for a little bit. We also have... Let's see. We have a new sub on YouTube.
I'm pissed. I thought you were going to forget. I was ready to do your job. I was fucking pissed. I thought, again, all you. Sorry.
No, Chris. I'm a professional. Thank you.
Oh, my bad, bro.
With new subscriber on YouTube, Get Etchy, thank you, and JB with a comment, WGG, gang.
Oh,
so thank you for that.
Yeah.
So check out the Down in Front podcast. I was on their upcoming episode for The Witcher. You can check them out at Down in Front _DIFP on most things, I think. And I also have a Wicked Gaming Suck It to Capcom, who corrupted my save file for Monster Hunter World. I put 120 hours into that fucking game, Capcom, and you know what you did? You fucking spanked me in the ass cheeks. That's what you did with it, okay?
Spanked me in the ass cheeks.
In the ass cheeks.
Not on them. They spread the cheeks and they spanked between them.
It's disgusting.
Okay? Exactly. All I wanted to do was play the Iceborne expansion. And you know what happened when I went to fucking launch it? It deleted one of my save files and corrupted the backup of my original save file. So I have an article about wickedgaming.com. You can read that. It's me basically bitching at Capcom saying, hey, fix this fucking issue. I gave you the $40. I want to play your game. Suck it, Capcom. That's all. That's all I got.
Chris?
So there was no 5-star reviews, which
Wow.
I'm pretty bummed about.
Wow.
Like you think you know some people,
You
so
are
I
the
can't
world we live in.
It's crazy. Wow, no one's gonna leave us a review.
Wow.
The world we live in, crazy. So I can't read any of them, but I'm a man of my word. I texted my buddy earlier. Well, my buddy texted me, and he said a little debate that he got in with Dom, and he politely asked for a shout out if he was correct, and he was correct. So
no, don't you dare.
I want to give a shout out to Handy. You were right.
No, he wasn't.
That's all I told him I was going to say. I wasn't going to be specific, but you were right. And that's all I got. Obviously, shout out everyone that's hanging out in the chat, too.
The world we live in. The world we live in. Yeah, just for that, I'm not giving any shout outs. So.
Oh, actually, I do have a shout out.
No, you don't.
There's definitely
No, I have one.
Do.
No, I do have
stop,
one. No,
stop.
you can't do it.
This one's legit.
No.
Stop.
No.
Don't fuck with... I'm dead serious.
I'll say it. I'll say it right now.
No, I was going to say it.
Don't fucking tell me. I'll say it right now.
I promise this to this person.
No.
I want to give a shout out to one of our own.
No.
Steve.
Oh.
Steve.
Yvette's GG for having a threesome last week. Yep, I told him I'd give him a shout out.
See, that's not even just me clapping. That's Steve clapping cheeks.
Yeah, that's true.
Two sets of cheeks.
Everyone, shout out Steve.
Several W's.
Put the little like waving emojis in there.
5-star review for Steve.
I was going to say that at the very end, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, shout out to Steve. Yeah, so shout out to you if you're listening to us right now. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Overcast, and now Radio.com and iHeartRadio. Big shout out to Argonite for following us. We got a lot of subs and a lot of follows during this episode, so big shout out to you. If you're doing that, big shout out to Bisuteki. I'm going to be having to stop through there. You know, the last time I was there, it was me, Lauren, and Chris. Little hot little triple date.
Shit was a movie, bro.
It was a movie. Went through there drinking sake like it was our day job. So yeah, big shout out. You know, we appreciate you so much. And listen, if you're listening to the show, it's a Thursday night or Friday morning, and you're saying, wow. And you're saying, wow.
Hashtag Steve had a threesome.
Steve had a threesome.
Get it trending.
Steve, if you give me permission, I will name this episode Steve had a threesome.
Oh, yeah. Honestly.
I need the permission from the explicitly written intent. I'm going to screenshot it.
I'm cool with it if he's cool with it.
I'm cool with it if he is cool with it too.
Yeah, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no. Stevie 3 times. So if you're listening to us right now and you're saying, listen, I would love to support these degenerates a little bit more and everything that they're doing, you can steal your significant other's Amazon Prime. Subscribe to us for free. It supports the channel. It is absolutely at no cost to you, and it takes like 2 seconds. So if you could subscribe to us, it's twitch.tv/wickedgoodgaming. We would really, really appreciate it. We would really, really appreciate it. And if not, you can subscribe to us for free. Follow us for free on your favorite podcast platforms. It's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Overcast, and iHeartRadio. I fucking hate all of you so much. I literally can't. I'm like just watching the chat. I'm just watching the chat out of the corner of my eye. I need help. Oh Christ. All right. I'm going to go check myself into therapy. I hope you guys all have a fucking fantastic weekend. If you're listening to this on Friday morning, listen, man, get ready for the weekend. Be good to yourself. Be good to everybody else. We love you so much. It's just a fantastic weekend. Have yourself like a nice little Hall of Fame worthy weekend.
Have yourself a nice threesome this weekend.
Be like Steve. It's like a merry little threesome. So you could be like and like Mike when little Bow Wow puts his shoes in the thing. He's just like
be like Steve.
Yeah, just make me like Steve before you go into the club this weekend. Just make me like Steve. Do that. Just do that. So shout out to Calvin Coolidge. And shout out to you if you're listening to this. We love you guys so much, and we'll see you